Have you ever noticed how brand new financial apps just seem to appear out of nowhere? I mean, one minute you've never heard of them, and the next they're rolling out debit cards and digital accounts like it's nothing. Well, there's a kind of secret engine powering this whole explosion. And today, we're going to pop the hood and take a look inside. Okay, so let's start with this company right here called Satchel. You see the logo, it's slick, it's modern, it looks exactly like what you'd expect from a fintech brand. But here's the thing about a logo. It can be a little deceiving. It's just a name, right? A symbol. What we're about to find out is that behind this simple design is a really powerful, complex machine that actually explains a ton about our modern financial world. And that leads us to the big mystery we're trying to solve today. I mean, think about it. How is it even possible to launch what's basically a new bank in a single month? You've got regulations, technology, partnerships. All of that feels like it should take years, not weeks. Well, the answer lies in understanding what companies like Satchel are really up to. To get to the bottom of this, we've got to peel back the first layer of the onion. So what's Satchel's official story? What do they tell the world they are? Officially, Satchel is an electronic money institution, or an EMI for short. And this is a super important piece of the puzzle. An EMI license is basically a regulatory green light that lets a company handle digital money. We're talking digital wallets, online payments, issuing payment cards, the works. It's not a full-blown banking license, but for the digital economy, it is incredibly powerful. So let's look at their credentials here. Founded in 2018, so they're pretty new to the scene. They've got that all-important EMI license in Lithuania, which is a major fintech hub in Europe. And that license lets them work across the whole EU. But here's the real kicker. They're a principal member of MasterCard. That means they have a direct connection to one of the biggest payment networks on the planet, giving them the power to actually create and issue payment cards all on their own. Okay, so they're a licensed e-money company that can issue MasterCards. Seems simple enough, right? Well, not so fast. This is where our story takes a really fascinating turn. Satchel isn't just one kind of company. It's actually two, both running on the very same platform. And you know what? The clue was hiding in plain sight this whole time. Let's go back to that logo for a second. See those two S shapes, how they're interlocked? It's almost like a perfect visual metaphor for their entire business. Two separate but deeply connected identities working as one. So on the left, you've got their direct-to-consumer business. This is the part that looks like any other digital bank you've seen, offering accounts and cards right to people and businesses. But on the right, that's the secret weapon, their B2B platform. Here, they're not serving regular customers. They're serving other fintech companies. They provide the regulated rails, the white label cards, and the tech that lets other brands build their own financial products right on top of Satchel's foundation. So let's step inside that engine room. How does this B2B model, this fintech enablement platform, actually work? How does it help get a company off the ground in just 1 month? Honestly, the best way to get it is with this analogy. Think of it like Shopify, but instead of launching an online store, you're launching a financial brand. Shopify gives anyone the tools to build a professional-looking e-commerce site in a few days, without you needing to be a coding genius or a payments expert. Well, Satchel does the exact same thing, but for financial services. They handle all the complicated, expensive, regulated stuff in the background. The official industry term for this whole thing is Banking as a Service, or BaaS. And the magic that holds it all together is the API. An API is just a secure way for different software programs to talk to each other. So a brand new fintech app can use Satchel's API to say, hey, create a new account for this person, or issue a virtual card with this number. And Satchel's license system just does it instantly. And here's what that looks like in the real world. Launching your own custom debit card, a process that used to be a complete regulatory nightmare, has now boiled down to these 5 pretty simple steps. They handle the hard parts like compliance and making the cards. You just have to focus on your brand, plug into their tech, and go. So why is this model so revolutionary? What's the killer feature that makes everyone want to use a platform like this? Well, it all comes down to one thing: speed. 15. That's it. That's the number of business days Satchel says it takes to launch a fully working, white-labeled card program. We're talking 3 weeks for something that used to take years of painful negotiations with banks and payment networks. This is an absolute game changer. But okay, what if you need more than just a card? What if you want to launch an entire fintech brand with accounts, payments, the whole shebang? Well, they claim you can do it in one month. And there it is. That's the answer to the question we asked at the very beginning. This is how fintech is moving so incredibly fast. So the bottom line is this. The real value of a platform like Satchel is that it just vaporizes the biggest roadblocks in finance. You get that incredible speed, you don't need your own multi-million-dollar license just to get started, you don't have to put up massive amounts of money as collateral, and all the really complex stuff like anti-money laundering rules and payment security, it's already baked right in. You just show up with your brand and your big idea. Now, let's zoom out, because this story isn't really just about Satchel. Their model is a perfect example of a huge shift that's happening across the entire financial industry. It's all about building the future on top of these powerful, enabling platforms. And here is the big idea to take away from all this. Companies like Satchel are enabler platforms. They're building the new infrastructure of finance. Kind of like how other companies laid the fiber optic cables that the internet runs on, they're providing the foundational layer that lets thousands of other innovators build new things faster and cheaper than was ever possible before. Which leaves us with a final, pretty mind-blowing thought. For centuries, finance was all about high walls and deep moats. But platforms like this are just tearing those walls down. So if anyone with a good idea can now build a bank, or at least something that looks a lot like one, in just a month, what do you think the world of finance is going to look like in 10 years? What kind of wild new ideas will pop up when the barriers to entry are finally gone?